Welcome, dear Aries. Yes, you, the trailblazers, the fire starters, the ones who'd rather sprint into a storm than wait in line for coffee. Whether you've been part of this journey with me since Pluto wore bell-bottoms or you're a bright-eyed newcomer who stumbled across this channel while deep in a midnight YouTube spiral, I'm truly glad you're here. This is Zodiac Talks Tarot, and I promise you, it's not your average crystal-rattling, incense-burning corner of the internet. Here, we combine astrology with psychology, add a sprinkle of Buddhist insight, and stir it with the kind of narrative depth that would make a novelist proud. We take your cosmic blueprint seriously while laughing along the way, because let's be real, if we can't joke about Mercury retrograde, what even are we doing? Now, about this eclipse. This isn't some poetic moonrise you watch with herbal tea and ambient music. No, this is a full-blown astrological SWAT team kicking down the doors of your soul. If you've been pacing around wondering why your ambitions felt like they were stuck in molasses, congratulations, Spirit just hit the override button. The universe isn't politely asking if you're ready. It's dragging you by the collar into alignment, and honestly, it's about time. For you Aries folks, delay is a dirty word. I know. You want things done yesterday. And when Spirit says, not yet, your inner fire turns into a flamethrower. But here's the deal, the wait wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Now the locks are coming off. The energy you've been bottling up like a shaken soda can? It's bursting forth. And yes, it might get messy. That's kind of your thing. So whether you're a seasoned cosmic warrior or just learning the difference between your rising sign and a rising sun, know this, you're in the right place, at the right time, on the edge of the right breakthrough. Buckle up, Aries. The eclipse isn't just lighting a path, it's blowing one wide open. And here on Zodiac Talks Tarot, we'll walk it together courageously, imperfectly, and with a little laugh when the universe throws its next plot twist. Prosperity, dear Aries, is no longer some abstract Pinterest quote or a motivational meme you scroll past while doom scrolling at midnight. It's real. It's earned. And it's headed your way, but only because you've done something most people never dare to do. You kept going when nothing made sense. You stayed the course when the applause stopped, when the lights dimmed, when the only thing left in the room was your own breath and a flicker of faith. That's not ordinary effort. That's the blueprint of purpose meeting destiny. Let's be clear, this isn't just about making money, though let's be honest, you wouldn't mind a little extra in the bank. This is about wealth in the truest sense. The kind that nourishes your nervous system. That lets you sleep through the night. That makes you walk a little taller, not because you're showing off, but because you feel aligned. You've been building something with the raw intensity only an Aries can summon, equal parts fire, persistence, and that classic watch me do it even if I have no clue how yet bravado. And guess what? The universe saw you. Spirit took notes. The harvest is real, and it's almost laughable how overdue it is. Welcome to the year of triumph 2025, where the chosen ones, and yes, you're on that list, finally get to see their inner grit translate into tangible rewards. And while we're on the topic of rewards, let's talk about love. Yes, love. I know, Aries. You'd rather talk about strategy, adventure, maybe your next big idea. But listen up, because this isn't just about butterflies and late-night texting. This is about a whole new frequency of love entering your life. Not the kind that plays emotional games or ghost texts you after a good 3 weeks. No, this is about love that fills, not fools. You're finally stepping into a place where you're emotionally self-sufficient, spiritually saturated. And when you live from that place, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg for attention, you command respect. And the people who come into your orbit now? They either rise to meet you or they fade out like background noise. That old dynamic that once kept you hooked on crumbs? Yeah, You've outgrown it. Maybe someone new shows up. Maybe someone old returns, reborn. Or maybe the biggest transformation is you finally realizing that love, the real kind, begins with how fiercely you hold space for yourself. In this new chapter, Aries, only mutual fire survives. The rest? Let it burn out. Aries, let's talk about who you've quietly become while the world was too busy to notice. You, my friend, have earned your stripes not through grand speeches or showy performances, but through persistence in the dark, the kind of resilience that rarely makes it to Instagram but transforms souls nonetheless. You've been climbing a mountain that didn't announce itself, bleeding on the inside while holding it all together on the outside. You did the work when no one was watching, and you kept going when quitting would have been much easier. That's not just admirable, it's sacred. And now, Spirit sees you as what you truly are, an honorable warrior. Not the kind that charges into battle for glory or conquest. No, this warrior doesn't fight just to win, this one fights to heal, to protect, and to transform. You're not a wrecking ball, though, let's be honest, you've got one in your back pocket just in case. You're a catalyst. A change bringer. And people are starting to feel it. So don't be surprised if folks who used to ignore you are suddenly hanging on your every word. Your voice now carries frequency like a tuning fork for truth. When you speak, it echoes beyond the ears, it moves through the soul. When you're silent, it speaks volumes. That, Aries, is spiritual authority. You've entered a chapter where your presence alone is a form of leadership. And what's the price of such evolution? Shedding. Not the glam kind with spa music and eucalyptus towels, but the real, messy, sacred kind. The eclipse is asking you to strip off everything that no longer fits, not out of punishment, but because it's time to move lighter, freer. Yes, you've already done some of the work. But Spirit's raising the bar. You're being asked to go deeper. The old roles, the expired stories, the inner critics dressed up as protection, they've got to go. Like an onion, freedom comes in layers. And yes, sometimes it stings. But every layer you release is one less barrier between you and your destiny. Here's where it gets beautifully paradoxical, you're now both the artist and the engineer of your life. You're being asked to dream wildly and build wisely. To craft blueprints with precision while also painting outside the lines when the moment calls for it. It's left brain and right brain. Steel and silk. You're constructing a future that makes room for intuition. It's no longer about controlling every variable. It's about trusting the flow. Think of the praying mantis, still, poised, knowing exactly when to strike. That's your new power move, strategic stillness. So Aries, don't force it. Don't rush it. The masterpiece is unfolding. You're not just here to survive this eclipse. You're here to emerge from it as a living symbol of awakened fire, blazing, focused, and finally, utterly free. Aries, let's have a real conversation about something that's quietly but powerfully shifting under your feet. Your wealth code is unlocking. Now, I don't mean you suddenly wake up with Bitcoin in your bathtub or your bank account starts singing gospel hymns. No, this is deeper. This is the moment when your spiritual DNA and divine timing finally shake hands and say, let's do this. Everything you've endured, the setbacks, the reroutes, the late-night existential spirals, they weren't for nothing. They've been setting the stage for something not just profitable, but purposeful. But here's the kicker, and I say this as someone who's spent years studying both natal charts and human nature. This breakthrough isn't fueled by hustle alone. You could burn the candle at both ends and still not light the path if you're not aligned. Alignment is the magic. It's when your actions match your essence. It's when you stop trying to be everywhere and start being exactly where you're meant to be. You're not late. You're not lost. You're precisely on time for the chapter you were born to write. And while you're out there casting spells of intention, guess what? Someone out there is manifesting you too. No, it's not always a rom-com situation with rain and long glances. It might be a business partner, a soul tribe member, a mentor, or even someone you've yet to meet who plays a key role in your purpose. You're part of someone else's answered prayer, and they're about to show up. Why? Because this isn't the era of going it alone. This is the season of sacred connections, of partnerships that move you from barely managing to boldly thriving. So when help arrives, don't squint at it suspiciously. Say yes. And now for the cherry on top, emotional security. After a long stretch of feeling like your life was one plot twist away from a soap opera, you're being gifted something rare and sacred, a sense of peace. Whether it's a physical home that finally feels safe, a quiet mind at night, or a spiritual stillness that lets you exhale fully, it's here. You've earned it. So please, Aries, rest. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Integration is the new ambition. This is your year of triumph 2025, and it begins with choosing peace over pressure. Trust the process and maybe, just maybe, put your phone down and take a nap. Aries, let me say something you may not hear enough, but it's time you did. You are the leader you've been waiting for. Not a guru on a mountain, not a billionaire with a podcast, not even your favorite motivational speaker shouting affirmations through your AirPods. It's you. Yes, you with the scarred hands, the restless heart, and that mind that never stops asking what's next. You've become the kind of leader that doesn't shout orders or seek applause. Instead, you lead by walking the walk even when the path was on fire and you were barefoot with no map. You've carried burdens that weren't yours. You've held space for others while silently fighting your own wars. And somehow, through all of it, you didn't lose your kindness. That, my friend, is leadership at its most sacred. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having enough courage to keep asking better questions. And guess what? People see you now. They feel your presence in rooms where you used to be invisible. Your growth is undeniable, and your ancestors, those wise old souls who know a thing or two about perseverance, they're nodding in approval. They've seen your evolution, and they're proud. But we're not stopping there. Because here's the deeper truth, you're not just a leader, you're a visionary. You didn't come here just to manifest a house with a pool or a six-figure income, though hey, let's not turn those down. You came to reshape reality. To invent new ways of being. You came to rewrite rules that no longer fit the future. To design systems that serve, not suffocate. To create art, ideas, and movements that awaken something ancient in others. You didn't sign up for the easy road. You signed up for the meaningful one. And yes, the voice of doubt still shows up uninvited, whispering the usual nonsense. You're too late, you're too intense, you're asking for too much. That voice isn't truth. It's programming. And it's outdated. You didn't come here to shrink. You came here to stretch the boundaries of what's possible. That's what makes you one of the chosen ones. The world needs your fire, not the polished, filtered kind, but the raw, unrelenting flame that actually changes things. Now let's talk about this moment right now. Don't get too obsessed with what's 5 steps ahead. The GPS of your soul is already recalculating in real time. Each peaceful decision you make, each moment you trust instead of force, nudges you closer to destiny. There's something beautifully chaotic about this eclipse energy. It's not rewriting your story by pressure, but by pull. You're not being shoved into alignment. You're being guided into it. So here's the spiritual secret that no one tells Aries: let go of the grip on the how. Your fire doesn't always have to be a flamethrower. Sometimes, the miracle is already unfolding, and all you need to do is let it. Step back. Soften. Receive. There's a higher timeline that's inviting you in, and it doesn't come through hustle. It comes through harmony. And now, before we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final truth: a quiet courage has been carrying you. Not the kind that screams on stages, but the kind that whispers, "Try again," when no one else is watching. That kind of courage? It's priceless. And now, the universe is asking you to trade burnout for balance. To stop performing for validation. To simply allow success, true, aligned, nourishing success, to meet you right where you are. This is your reward, a life built not from exhaustion, but from clarity. A life where you don't have to prove your worth because you finally believe in it. A life where richness isn't just in your bank account but in your breath, your boundaries, your peace. You're not just living in the year of triumph 2025, you're reshaping it. So go ahead, Aries. Enjoy your life. Let yourself laugh more, rest more, dance more. Be bold enough to slow down. Be brave enough to be happy. You've fought long enough, it's time to receive. And hey, if this message resonated with you, do me a favor, like this video, share it with your fellow Aries warriors, and subscribe to my channel Zodiac Talks Tarot so we can keep walking this path together. The stars are speaking, and you've got a front row seat. Welcome home.